China is the number one threat to the United States, economically, militarily, any way you want to look at it. They're a greater threat than Donald Trump and his supporters. Now, we have this three Chinese stories: the balloons, COVID, and even Hunter Biden. I'll come back to that. But the point I want to make in how these stories relate is, one, China's response to these, and secondly, our response, our elitist bureaucrats' response to this. Let's start with the balloon story. This one's crazy to me. I mean, doesn't this seem so old-fashioned as a spying technique? I mean, today it's all about hacking computers and social media and the rest. And of course, we will never get away from the age-old practice of a country sending their spies to our country to have sex with our congressmen. That's why I thought, too, this maybe was Swalwell's girlfriend, Fang Fang, just coming back for a joyride. China's response to this, their official response, was, oops, didn't mean for this to happen. And our response, and I'm talking about from the highest level of our government, the Pentagon elites, all the Ivy Leaguers at the State Department, the foreign policy experts, the smartest of the smart, their response back to China, it's okay. We like you anyway. We know you're good at heart. Then we got the COVID story, same thing. COVID kills, which came from China, kills over 1 million Americans. China's response is, oops, sorry about that. And again, our response from the highest levels is, it's okay. We like you anyway. We know you're good at heart. Listen, there are two questions that have to be answered, should have been answered years ago. No matter where you are on the political thing, you have to agree these questions need to be answered. Number one, is it man-made, this virus? Did it come from a lab? Or is it a natural thing? A bunch of Chinese having sex with bats right outside the door of the lab. And then the second question is, was it intentional by the Chinese? Because if it was in any way, that is an act of war. That is terrorism. Now, we'll never know because our elitists, Dr. Fauci, CDC, NIH, they're up to their eyeballs, stained with the blood of millions tied to that lab. They will not go there, and the press will support them. Then there's Hunter Biden. You're probably thinking, wait a minute, what's that got to do with China? Well, he received money from China. And there are, the belief that he gave some of that money to Joe Biden when he was vice president. That breaks, to me, one of the most important federal laws on politicians. You cannot, by federal law, receive any money, campaign finance, gifts, money of any kind. If you do, that is corruption. That breaks the law. The penalty should be swift and clearly lose your job and pay back the American people the total money that you received with penalties and fines and whatever else. I don't care about the rest of the Hunter Biden stuff. Makes for a great movie. The prostitutes, the guns, the drugs, the lifestyle. Don't care. The only matter is that Joe Biden received money from China while he was vice president. Of course, we will never know. Now, China hasn't given an official response to that because it's not really been investigated. I have a feeling it would be, oops, we didn't know that was a problem. And of course, our response would be, it's okay. We like you anyway. We know you're good at heart.